Imagine losing your beloved wife because of pride. Because of a little misunderstanding. Because of a little argument. Derek and Halima had been married for 2 beautiful years. They were not very rich, they were comfortable. Their little house, though modest, was filled with laughter, warmth, and love. They had no children yet, not because they couldn't, but because they both agreed to enjoy themselves first before bringing little ones into their world. Their life was simple and sweet. Every morning, Derek would drop Halima at her office before heading to his own office, and in the evenings, he would pick her up. They laughed while cooking together, talk about the future. In fact, they did everything together. To outsiders, they looked like the perfect couples. But everything changed one Monday morning. The day began as usual. Halima set the dining table with bread and hot tea, humming softly with her radiant smile, the kind of smile that could light up even the darkest room. Derek came out of the bedroom, dressed neatly for work, wearing the smile he always reserved for her. He sat at the dining table, eager to enjoy his breakfast before the long day ahead. But as he picked up his bread and took a bite, his expression changed instantly. The bread was dry. No butter. His face darkened. Without thinking, Derek dropped the bread harshly on the plate, stood up, and thundered across the room.
Halima, how could you serve me bread without butter? Do you expect me to eat this dry nonsense?
His voice boomed, echoing the walls. Halima froze. She didn't flinch, she didn't argue, she didn't even try to explain. She simply sat there, her eyes fixed on him, her face expressionless. Inside her heart she was shattered, but she chose silence over confrontation. Calmly, she stood up, picked up her bag, and walked out of the house. No goodbye. No explanation. No breakfast. For the first time since their marriage, Derek did not drop her to work. She flagged down a cab at the junction while Derek stood there, boiling with anger, yet paralyzed by pride. In his mind, he was right. He was correcting her. Why should he apologize? That evening, Derek returned home to an empty house. Usually, he would drive to Halima's office to pick her up, and they would return together, sharing stories of the day. But not this time. Pride kept him in his seat. When Halima eventually came back, she walked straight past him without a word. She slipped into the bathroom, showered and changed, while Derek sat stiff in the living room, drowning in his silence. Dinner was eaten separately, and when they finally lay in bed, they laid like strangers, backs turned, silence filling the space where love once thrived. Neither of them was willing to break the silence. Tuesday came and passed. So did Wednesday. And the rest of the week, and yet Derek and Halima never spoke to each other. One evening, Halima prepared dinner for the both of them, and they sat quietly while eating at the dining table. She attempted to start a conversation, but Derek's pride was stronger than his love in that moment. He mumbled a word under his breath, stood up quickly, and left the dining table, hurrying to the bedroom. Halima said nothing. She just kept smiling. Halima was truly a great beauty to behold. Her smile could melt even the toughest heart. Derek wanted to fall for it, he wanted to let it soften him, but he hardened himself, refusing to give in. He wanted Halima to apologize first. He was not going to let her beauty lure him into saying sorry. Halima later came into the room and got into shower. As she bathed, she sang Derek's favorite song. Her voice floated the room, tender and sweet. Normally, Derek would have sung along, their voices blending in harmony as they always did. But his pride robbed him of the chance to end their drama that night. By the time Halima got into bed, Derek had already forced himself into sleep. Around 2 a.m., Halima placed her hand gently on Derek's body, tapping him non-stop. But Derek, still lost in pride, quickly pushed her hands away, and pulled the blanket over himself. He thought she was tapping him because she wanted to make peace, because she wanted him to say something soft, or maybe even to reach for her as usual. But he never knew it was more serious than that. He never knew that would be the last time he would feel her touch. Derek woke up late that morning, the alarm clock screaming past 7 a.m. He quickly dived into the bathroom because he was already late for work. When he came out of the bathroom, he glanced at Halima, who still lay quietly on the bed. She looked peaceful, too peaceful, but his pride blinded him. He got dressed in his neatly ironed suit and rushed downstairs and had his breakfast, but his wife was still asleep, or so he thought. His pride never gave him the opportunity to wake her up, so he left her in bed and drove off to work. When he returned that evening, he noticed something odd. The front door was still wide open. A cold chill ran down his spine. He got down, walked to the living room and froze. Everything was exactly the way he had left it that morning. The plates he used for breakfast still sat on the dining table untouched. The tea in the cup had dried, leaving a faint stain at the bottom. Nothing had moved, nothing at all. Derek's heart tightened. Something was wrong, terribly wrong. He dropped his briefcase and hurried upstairs, his mind racing with 1,000 thoughts he couldn't quite put together. The bedroom door stood wide open, just as he had left it. Derek rushed inside, his breath quickening, his palms sweating. Halima laid on the bed, still, unmoving, in the same position he had seen her that morning.
Halima,
he called, his voice shaking. He rushed to her side, grabbing her shoulders and shaking her gently. Her body was cold.
No, please, no.
Derek's voice trembled as he placed his hand on her chest. There was no rise, no fall, no heartbeat, no breath.
Halima!
He screamed, his voice thundering through the walls.
Jesus, oh God, no! Please wake up, my love!
He pulled Halima into his arms, shaking her lifeless body, his tears finally breaking through the dam of pride that had held them back all week. But it was too late. The truth hit him like a train. His beautiful wife, the woman whose smile could melt every anger, whose laughter was his greatest joy, was gone. The reality hit him hardest at her funeral. Relatives came, friends mourned, neighbors whispered, but Derek had none of it. He moved like a ghost among the living, his eyes hollow, his lips silent. It all felt like a cruel movie, until when they lowered her coffin into the ground. It was only then that the truth unraveled like a whip. Halima was truly gone. His pride had killed her. It was only after the funeral that the truth became painfully clear. Halima had been asthmatic. Everyone close to her knew. Derek too knew. She always kept her inhaler in her drawer by the bedside. That night, at 2 a.m., when she tapped him urgently, it wasn't to reconcile. It wasn't to plead. It was desperation. She couldn't breathe. She was reaching out to the man she trusted most in her darkest hour. But Derek never looked. He never listened. Pride had blinded him. Pride had deafened him. And pride had left his wife gasping for breath until her body gave up. 6 years had passed, but Derek was still haunted. He replayed every moment in his head like a broken record. If only I had held her when she tried to talk to me over dinner. If only I had turned to her when she tapped me in the middle of the night. If only I had swallowed my pride. The words haunt him like a curse. His house became a prison of memories. The dining table reminded him of the breakfast he mocked. The bathroom echoed with her voice singing his favorite song. Their bedroom, their once sacred place of love, was now a tomb of silence where his pride had killed his joy. His heart was void. Love had died with Halima. He was a walking shadow, a man stripped of laughter, crushed beneath the weight of guilt. Every night he lay awake staring at the ceiling, whispering into the darkness, if only I could turn back the hands of time, I would right my wrongs. But time never turns back. and Halima will never come home again.
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to Hopela Stories.